And we're back with another video, everybody. And yes, I'm getting messages like crazy from so many of you asking me my thoughts on the proposed new four-door Mustang. And most of you, I think, are really thinking what I'm thinking. And that is that Ford and GM are both trolling the hell out of Dodge. And when I say Dodge, I mean they know these CEOs all fly from the same private airports. They hang out in the same American Express Black Card Platinum clubs at these airports. And these definitely compete on a level that few of us, for sure, I cannot even imagine. And I got to think, when they're playing with chess pieces as big as they're playing, that there's a little bit of ego going on, especially considering that Farley is a car guy. No matter how you cut it, he is a car guy. And reminiscent of Tim Kuniskis and other great CEOs that were car guys, we know that despite Carlos Tavares's history in racing, he is not the guy that I would call a car guy. And these guys got to be thinking, and just from the American standpoint, standing at the helm, running forward, that Farley's got to be thinking, this is too perfect. Like if I could have a competitor that was so incredibly inept, so incredibly stupid, and they were declaring war on the American muscle car and trying to shove electric cars down the customers' throats. If I had a customer that was so disconnected from their customer base, that got so lost in the desert.
We pass a goddamn gas station every 100 yards for 1,000 miles. I'm gonna die. That's it.
What an asshole.
Thinking and trying to become a luxury car manufacturer. If I had a competitor that had such astronomically insane ideas and so disconnected from reality in its current marketplace, who's also tripping, falling, having issues, tearing the company apart, doing massive layoffs, fighting with its own suppliers, suing its own dealers, have their dealers are screwing customers over. I mean, it is the perfect storm for Ford to go, hey, look, we're kind of positioned good. We started selling EVs, 4 or 5 years ago with the Mach-E and the Lightning and God knows what other EVs that they've had, which has allowed them to be able to have the luxury of being able to sell their V8 still. While Dodge was asleep at the wheel,
Okay, honey.
no pun intended, and just now coming to the party, and Carlos is saying no more offsets with the Tesla offset, pigeonholing them into basically do a bunch of EVs, hope those EVs work, then come out with their gas cars in late 2025. So I think if I was Ford, and yeah, I have a little bit of nastiness in me when it comes to wanting to win in a competitive environment, he's thinking, this is a perfect time for us to go ahead and float that thing. But hey, this was disclosed at a private event just to dealers that they're considering doing it. Listen, you want to know how to keep something secret, and I see this in my business every single day. Tell everybody it's no big deal, and no one will talk about it. But the second you start trying to make something confidential, secret, taking cell phones, don't let them video, you better believe it's going to get rumored and it's going to make articles, and those articles sell and run way better than, Ford just said they're thinking about doing a four-door. This being secret that is leaked is great, but let me show you something real quick. All right, so here is the article. Of course, you can go read it. I'll put a link in the description below, and it just talks about what they're discussing. They're talking about quite a few things, and most of them all include a V8 engine, and whether it be a dark horse convertible, which they alluded to when they're talking about the V8 models, or an off-road version, which would be freaking awesome. Could you imagine this thing? I mean, that would sell like crazy. I think it would. I mean, I think it's ridiculous enough to get people to line up and buy it, especially if you throw a big enough power plant in that thing. But my point I want to make here is I want to go back to Here, this is an article from December of 2022. This is nothing new. A lot of you may know this already, but they were talking about four-door Mustangs for quite a while. I believe even preceding these articles, they were talking about it, going back to these dates here. Going back to, what is this, 2021. They were talking about four-door Mustangs back then. But then they came out with the stupid Mach-E, and we all thought, what a abomination of using that name, the moniker Mustang, with that thing. But it turned out to be brilliant, because I'm not sure they would have sold as many if they didn't. So they called it that. It's a goofy-looking four-door car, hatchback, little, I don't know, CUV thing, and it sold enough to be able to help them keep the V8s alive, which was brilliant. So why in the hell are they going to do this now? Well, I believe it's common sense. They see a window with GM. They dropped their four-door Cadillac CTSVs. Those are going away. Obviously, the Camaro was a two-door, but that's going away. Yes, they came out with the ZR1 Corvette, but that's not a competitor to this thing. And Dodge is saying, well, we're not going to come out with our gas engine four-door Charger till late 2025, and I'm not sure they even made it clear that the four-door would be available then, or if it's just the two-door, but let's just say it's late 2025 that they'll come out with that thing. Now, you know, if I'm a police department in America, I'm thinking, should I buy American or should I buy foreign? Well, Dodge is foreign now. Stellantis is not part of the big three. The big three in America is Ford, GM, and Tesla. Well, they're obviously not going to go Tesla. Yes, I heard some departments are doing some of these things, but it's laughable no matter how you cut it. But why would they go overseas? Why would they buy from a company like this, especially after the Durango fiasco earlier this year? So why wouldn't Ford jump on the police car wagon and say, look, we can pick up all of this market share. And this is an article from 2022. So this is nothing new, which means they've got to have this in their minds right now, that if they can get something delivered to market by 2025, even if it was early 2026, they can completely take over the police car market. They've already got the Ford Explorer, but for the departments that want a sedan, they could be selling the living heck out of these things. And if they're offering V8s and V6 gas engines, and these are American cars, I mean, police departments, I think, would be buying, hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, over the time that it was there. Goes back to, what are my thoughts about a four-door Mustang? Well, let me tell you. My thoughts are pretty simple. Ford, great job. You planned this thing out. You telegraphed your punch. You played the long game early by starting off with the EVs. You've kept the Mustang going. I wish I was a Mustang guy. It would be a lot easier just to shift over there. I've never driven one in my life, so I need to go try one out. I'm a Dodge guy, and I'm going to hang on with the older Dodges. When I say older Dodges, I mean 2023 and back. I'm going to wait and see what happens with this twin-turbo i6, but I can tell you there is a good chance that I get behind the wheel of that thing and test drive it, and it just doesn't excite me. And if it's ridiculously expensive, then I would consider so many other cars instead of that thing. And if I've got Mustang dealership right next door to a Dodge dealership selling a gorgeous looking dark horse four-door Mustang, could you imagine that? Then, man, that would be a great daily for me. It'd be a great work car. Have the four doors, have a cool muscle car. I mean, I think they would sell the hell out of these things. Now, I've heard a lot of rumbling about not naming it a Mustang. Well, the thing is they figured out how to sell that Mach-E by calling it a Mustang. They know what they're doing, because calling it something else, I watched a few other videos and read some articles, and people were saying they should call it the Falcon. And I would agree with that. I think it would be smart to do so. But this whole younger generation doesn't know what the hell a Falcon is. I do. I know what one is, but they don't. They don't. If I ask my daughter what a Mustang is, she knows immediately. And she doesn't think about the Mach-E. She immediately thinks about her friends who have what she perceives to be pretty cool Mustangs with V8s. So if they roll this thing into a four-door, continue to call it a Mustang, I think they got a hell of a chance of selling the daylights out of these things, especially considering it'll be one of the, if not the last V8 four-door sedans still rolling around out there. They could come in and completely slap Dodge around.
It ain't planet Earth right now.
And frankly, just help put the nail in their coffin when it comes to their twin-turbo i6 cars with the four doors. Because I don't think the police departments, and I think so many of us over time are going to find our way back to a V8, even if it's not Dodge, as frustrating as that is. Until maybe somebody gets fired over there, they sell Dodge off, or something happens, and they bring something back that's more palatable. So in the end, I think Ford is brilliant for leaking this. I think Ford is brilliant for building it. If they do end up building it, I think they probably will. And I think they will probably go after the police car market. And I think they'll go after, heck, all of us. They know right now we are all orphans. We are orphans. All of us Dodge people. We're orphans if we want a new car. If we want to keep our old stuff, we're good. We got each other. But we don't have a manufacturer that we have an affinity for at this point, and they're continuing to get further and further away from us. And I think we all know that even if we wait till 2025 and that twin-turbo i6 comes out, that they're going to overprice it, they're going to mark it up, and the dealers are going to screw it up completely like they've screwed up everything else. And while Ford dealers certainly play games with prices, and I went out and I looked at some Broncos and stuff for a while during the middle of COVID, and I watched some really stupid markups take place, I don't think anybody can hold a candle to the level of insanity and stupidity that the Dodge dealers took us to with the Hellcats and the Scat Packs. So with that, I look forward to seeing what Ford does. I'm still sitting on the sidelines. I'm waiting to see. But man, if they do that, I got to think, especially if it looks anything like the pictures that we've seen out there so far, I got to think this thing has some legs. And I think Ford's going to cause a lot of noise in the market with an American car, with the V8, with four doors as an option. Brilliant. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about this whole thing. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
What we are seeing in the Western world right now is that the consumers are not supporting as much as the political leadership was expecting the EV ramp up. And the consumers, they are very clear in what they expect from us. They expect safe, clean, and affordable mobility. And safe and clean they are, affordable is the challenge. So they want basically to buy EV cars at the price of internal combustion engine cars.
Bullshit!